Let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles, Colin. Obviously, nice bounce back from Jalen Hurts against the Raiders. I guess that's, an NFL team. Hurts has gotten a lot of criticism throughout the season and was asked how he responds to pressure from outside the building.
Perception by those who are watching. I'm not watching. I'm living. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's my focus. It's in my first rodeo.
Go ahead. I know you want to make fun of him. I see a little smirk there, a smirk emerging. Cowherd wants to take a shot at the sound bites from Jalen Hurts. It's like he's reading some scholarly text, some philosophy.
You know what? I think he's a good guy. He can be a little, he can be a little Russell Wilson, a little cliched. But you know what? I'd rather have that than start fires and be cocky. And
yeah,
I'm fine with it.
So quick thoughts on the Eagles. Now, they play Washington this week. They should get the win.
Well, they play Washington twice.
Exactly. So I haven't bet this, but I'm curious. If they win, Dallas is eliminated. It's over for the Cowboys, okay? At that point, you get 2 weeks before your first game. The Eagles will not get a bye. Does Philly say, let's start resting some guys? Saquon, you haven't had the legs. You want a week or two off? Take it. Or do you think they need to get some rhythm going to head into the playoffs? Because it's an interesting discussion for the Eagles.
I have a hard time believing that Philadelphia is going to get their rhythm when they face the best teams in the playoffs. I've watched this offense. It's been broken for 16, 15 weeks. So the idea that you're going to face better defenses, better coordinators, better coaching, better teams, and then you'll find your rhythm. Philly is what they are. Stacked roster, led by their defense, can't run the ball, using excuses. Well, our offensive line's dinged up. Justin Herbert is 10-4, and he's missing both tackles and has the worst offensive line PFF in the league. I don't want to hear about the injuries to the O-line. How in the hell are the Chargers winning these games? Head coach, toughness. I'm tired of the excuses. It's a broken offense between head coach and OC. It's suboptimal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's strong. Tough to argue that one. Final story.
Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's argue it. Resting people, CN doesn't need rest. It's not the problem. Also, if the Eagles win, let's say they win out, or no, let's first follow J-Mac's logic. They win, they win 10, and so now they're 10-5, and they would be solidified. Then at the bare minimum, they're going to be at the 3 seed rate at the bare minimum, because you won. You don't have to your chances of, even if you have all the backups, beating the Commanders and then getting to 11. But even if not, you have the tiebreaker with the Bucks, and then I'm not sure what the tiebreaker record would then look like with the Panthers. But let's just say that they're pretty much solidified at 3. You still have the chance to now get to the 2 seed, and now you have to figure out, does that matter? Does that matter? And if the Rams lose and the Seahawks win, they're now going to have 12 wins. 12. But if they now blow that, if they take a dive like the Eagles have the tiebreaker with the Rams, or even now just the Rams potentially falling to the 5 seed. And if the Eagles are now at the 2 seed, it is a little bit unpredictable to figure out what would be the best case scenario from a seeding standpoint, and trying to get home field advantage. It worked brilliantly for the Eagles last season because the Lions got knocked out that first round. So they got the Packers who were limping injured into the playoffs. And then you get home field advantage against the Rams, which I think the Vikings, I think if that game ended up a little bit differently, I'm not sure. I guess because the Commanders, maybe the 17, I forget exactly, but regardless, because the Commanders beat the Lions and the Commanders beat the Bucks, the way how it all unfolded, it was smooth sailing, home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs for the Eagles. Not quite sure you'd get that here. It's possible. If Sam Darnold lays in, if they get the number 1 seed, the Seahawks, and Sam Darnold lays an egg and loses to the 7 seed Green Bay Packers or something. If you're the 2 seed, you're in a position now to face the 7 seed again, or something, something of that sort. So it's a little bit harder to predict there. But I do think if the Bears lose and the Packers now, I'm not sure with that tie. If they're 10-4, I guess the Packers would be ahead because of the tie. I still don't really know how the tie works, I'll be honest. What's more important? The less losses or the same number of wins, or what? I think the 10-4-1 is better than 10-5. So I just don't know if you are maybe just looking at the most realistic scenario is you being locked in the third spot, and then what do you do? Like, how do you really just not rest everyone, but just really take chances, really try to push the limits with this offense, try different things, try to get in rhythm? Because I just don't think it's a rest thing at all. It's a rhythm of the play calling, and it's Jalen Hurts speaking the same language as Kevin Patullo, and AJ Brown and Devontae and Saquon. Like, everyone just needs to be on the same page. Colin keeps saying this offense is broken, this offense is broken, this offense is broken. And it's true, but it doesn't mean that there's not something there. Doesn't mean that they can't find a way to get hot. I mean, the Denver Broncos offense was seemingly broken for weeks and weeks and weeks, and now it's could not be any better. Colin was ripping the Green Bay Packers offense for being broken, and now it could not be better. And like, the argument would be like, well, hey, if you could fix it, you would have already fixed it. And it's like, it's a little different when you have an offensive coordinator who's brand new, who's like, maybe there's things that he wants to try or do, but he's just kind of like you. I just think it's different if you're Sean Payton or Matt LaFleur or someone where you're like, you're a lot more empowered to be like, this is what I want to do. And, you know, granted, those guys are also going to be in a position to have more continuity with their quarterback in a way that obviously Kevin Pulo and Jalen Hurts don't necessarily have. So it is interesting. You know, having the Commanders, it's like they're a bad team. Then you have the Bills, and it's like, all right, that's the Buffalo Bills, that's Josh Allen. And then you have the Commanders again. And so, you know, it really is all about playoff preparation. It really is all. It's not about Jalen Hurts' touchdown. Interception ratio and, you know, making sure that A.J. Brown makes sure that he has a touchdown and 100 yards. Like, it's just what do you need to do? How do you need to play? Do you treat these games almost as a pseudo practice of just like, these are the things that we're working on? These are things that we're trying to get going. We're trying to get everyone on the same page. That's ultimately what it is. We're trying to get everyone on the same page. Or are you just like, you know what? Let's just be as healthy as we can. And that's where I will be annoyed if I see someone like Dallas Goedert taking extra cut. He does it all the time, and it drives me crazy, especially because he gets banged up all the time. He's running down the sideline. There's no more yards to gain. And yet he just lowers his shoulder, just takes a big hit. And he knocked himself out of a game by doing it the one time. I forget what game it was. I think it was against the Bucks. I forget. And it was just like, yeah, you're causing that yourself. Not telling you to avoid all contact, but if it can be avoided, then just get out of bounds, especially this late in the season. He was taking some big hits in the Commanders game, and I'm like, what? Or the Raiders, and it's like, why? You don't need that right now. Like, that's unnecessary. Be smart out there. And, you know, same thing with Jalen Hurts getting hits and getting contact. So you want to win, you want to get in rhythm, but you want to do so as safely as possible. But yeah, it is kind of a slightly weird situation where the 2 seed is still potentially there. The 1 seed technically probably unlikely. You would really need a very specific scenario of some wins and losses here. I mean, you know, you'd win out, which would then give you 12 wins, and the Rams would have to essentially just win one more game and then lose out, and then you win a tiebreaker type situation, and the Bears could only win a couple game, you know, so probably unlikely. It's technically possible, but most likely unlikely. So you're looking more between the 2 and 3 seed, and you have to figure out how much does that matter. If the playoffs were exactly how they are right now, you're looking at the 49ers, and if US, you know, surpass the Bears, if anything, that probably would be a scenario then where the Bears are now the 7 seed. And then, you know, who would you rather go up against in that situation? The Bears or the 49ers? And, you know, you get caught in that game of like, what's the best scenario? You know, what's the best situation here? and it's not always clear, but I mean, if the 49ers win and the Seahawks lose to the Rams, they're now clearly in the, pretty solidified in the driver seat for the 1 seed. And now the Seahawks start falling down a little bit, and now it's like the Seahawks going to be the 6th seed. Then you're going up against, Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. So like, this is a weird situation. There's just going to be so much movement over these next few weeks that I think at the end of the day, you try not to game the system if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. Not trying to figure out how to get the best team to face and just figure out how to make your team the best it can be over these next 3 weeks. Health, execution, play calling, game planning, etc., etc., etc. You'd want everyone to feel like, hey, we got things rolling right now. We are exactly where we want to be. Any of those problems before? That was a month ago. That was weeks ago. We don't even remember that. That goes a long way. You find yourself in a situation where you beat the 49ers. Let's say this is exactly how it lays out. You beat the 49ers. The Packers and the Bears like that will now have huge consequences. Because if the Packers upset the Bears now, the Packers are automatically playing the Rams. Whereas if the Bears play the Packers, if the Bears beat the Packers, you now got to play the Bears, and now you got to go on the road, and now it'll be the winner of between the Bucs and the Seahawks. Whereas like, there's a real possibility that the Packers could upset the Bears, which is what we saw, a similar situation with the Commanders before. So it's like now the Commanders or now the Packers would then have to play Lions, and now you get another favorable matchup between the Bucs and the Seahawks, and you're at home again now. So like, it's just like that's just like the fascinating situation. The more I'm kind of looking at it, you probably want to be in that 3 spot and then really hope that the 7 seed upsets the 2 seed. Then you get 2 playoff games. And maybe you get lucky again, and then you get a home fielded, NFC championship game again. Stranger things have happened. But if you're saying that if you have 2 playoff games where you have to play the 49ers and the Bucs or something, are you kidding me, man? Like that's on you if you can't get to another NFC championship game. That's on you. And then with a little luck, you host the NFC championship game. But if not, then you're probably looking at, the Rams then, and it's like, all right, rematch, right? You've already beaten them just in the last technically like in the last like calendar year, a little bit over that. You beat them 3 times, right? You had the regular season playoffs. I don't know. And then you'd be in a warm area. You could run fast. AJ Devontae, Squan Cooper, Dean, locking found Devontae Mitchell, Bon Jalen Carter. I don't know. I don't have faith in the play calling and the coaching necessarily, but the path is there. And it's not like a crazy path. It's not like, you're trying to paint this perfect picture where you have to beat, a bunch of nobodies just to like make it look like you're a good team. Like the roster is there, the talent is there, the experience is there, the production is there. If you put it together in the playoffs and you catch a break or two, then it's like, then there would almost be like no excuses. Like, I don't care how bad the play calling has been or those concerns or with the O-line or this, that. It's like you should be able to pull off a playoff game unless you're in a tough situation where like the Rams fall down to the 5 spot or the Seahawks are truly elite and truly special, but they just can't, they find themselves in the 5 spot, and it's like, okay, that's a tough matchup now. You're facing a team that could easily be the 1 seedator or something. Like, it's like, I'll be more forgiving for that situation, but if not, it's like, can't lose to the Bucs, can't lose to the 49ers, can't lose to a Micah Parsons, less Green Bay Packers, right? Like, it's just a tougher sell from my viewpoint, at least. But I mean, listen, maybe things get upseat a little bit. Maybe the Lions sneak in, and like, that would be fascinating. The Lions sneak in, they beat the Bears, which they've already done. Now they go up against the Rams again. That offense torch, that Rams defense again. You find you find yourself in some pretty wild, wacky scenarios. You just do. So, H, every time I look at these standings for both conferences, it just becomes so impaired possibilities, unlimited possibilities. And that's almost why you should, and I'll end here, why you should be actually kind of angry with the Philadelphia Eagle. Not kind of like you should be still be optimistic, but you should be like, oh my God, this is such the year to just rip through this right now. It's wide open. You're like, you won the Super Bowl last year. You got the squad. You know what to do. You know how to do it. And like Baker Mayfield is going to stand in your way, or like Caleb, like what? Or the Rams, the team that you beat last year, like what? And if you get to the Super Bowl, like it's going to be Drake May or Bo Nix or Trevor Long, like you've been there. This would now be your third Super Bowl. Like that's how the Kansas City Chiefs have been able to win so much, is by leaning on that. It's like, we've been here, bro. We know what we're doing. This is new for you. This is exciting for you. You're like, oh, what's all of this? We've been here. We know how to do it. And we take advantage of that. And it's like the Eagles don't seem like they're positioned to be able to lean on that because they're still trying to figure stuff out. And if anything, some of those other teams seem like they have it a lot more figured out. But the Eagles are definitely in this extra tricky situation where it's like they could be the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 49ers can hop up to the 5 seed. Like it's just like it's very, very scattered. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles and their playoff hopes, and how they should handle these next few weeks, these next few games? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.